Good evening and welcome to the Spaa Authors Academy podcast. I am your host, Veronica Yancey. I have with me joining today this young lady. She's not only a member of Spaa's leadership team, but was recently, guys, selected as Speaker for Success Fest 21. Give it up for Brenda Tucker-Jeffries.
Oh, wow. Thank you for that rousing introduction. I really appreciate it.
Yes. So, Miss Brenda, let's get started. Tell me about yourself.
All righty then. I am Brenda Tucker-Jeffries, author of 2 books. The first book, entitled Mother of the Bride Stuff Happens.
Okay.
And the second book is a collaborative book of 10 different authors, and the title is The Power Within.
Okay.
I'm also a wedding strategist, a speaker, an over 50s model, and recently a relationship coach.
Okay.
So as a wedding strategist, I provide mothers of the bride with strategies, resources, and information to help ensure that their daughters have the best wedding events possible.
Okay.
When the mother of the bride works with me, she'll get a happy bride, less stressful planning, and the ability to enjoy the wedding events rather than having to run around putting out fires.
Okay.
As soon as the couple gets engaged, the next person that they should contact is me.
All right. How about the bride? Yes. Okay. Brenda, tell me, when did you join Spaa and what happened to make you want to be a part of this organization?
Okay, I remember joining Spaa. It was like the spring of 2015.
Okay.
And I joined because I was looking at the television one night and, channel surfing, really, because I wasn't really looking at anything in particular.
Okay.
And I ran across this like public service channel, like a Comcast public service channel.
Okay.
And they were running like a commercial on some of the events that were taking place in my area.
Okay.
And I saw the owner and founder of Spaa with 2 of the leadership members. And they were talking about this organization that was like next to my neighborhood where I live. And I had never recognized this place, even though I was driving past it all the time.
Wow.
So my daughter had gotten married in September of 2014.
Okay.
I was helping her and her fiance plan the wedding, and it was a wonderful experience for me.
Okay.
Everything just went perfectly well until the day of the wedding.
Okay.
And the engagement party went off great. The wedding itself was in a different venue than the reception, but the wedding was great. When we got to the reception, things just started happening that should never have happened at all.
Wow.
So even after the reception was over and my daughter and her new husband had like a breakfast, for some of the members that stayed overnight at the hotel, things went wrong even there. And I didn't find that out until later on when they came to visit, because we still had some relatives from out of town that was staying at my house. And they were going to leave until Thursday. So she came back, to talk to them and thank them for showing up. And as she was telling me some of the other things that went wrong, I just kept getting angrier and angrier.
Okay.
I'm thinking to myself, we spent tens of thousands of dollars at this luxury downtown Chicago hotel, and they had the audacity to do the things that they did. So as I'm trying to calm down because I have my guests still here. I can't really show my feelings.
Mm-hmm.
They left on Thursday and I started writing things down immediately because I had to get them out of my body. My system was on fire.
Okay.
So it took me a while to get everything out of me. And I took the paper that I had written on and filed it away.
Okay.
And as I was sitting there listening to Dr. Michael V. Wilkins talk about the Spaa theater and the Spaa organization,
Uh-huh.
I realized that they actually publish books.
Uh-huh.
And what I had was a manuscript that could be turned into a book.
Okay.
I went to that very next meeting, and you guys were actually talking about how to get your book published.
Okay.
How faithful can that be?
Right.
So that next month is when I came back and I joined Spaa. And within 90 days, my book was published.
Look at that.
Yes. And the title of that first book was actually Mother of the Bride, So Your Daughter's Getting Married.
Okay.
After that, I did make a couple of more changes. And now the book is called Mother of the Bride, Stuff Happens. But that's when I joined Spaa in spring of 2015.
You were ready after that wedding, huh?
I was ready to share it with the world because I knew that my daughter and I could not have been the only mother and daughter that was going through that. But it was so frustrating at the time and embarrassing.
Okay.
Some of the things that happened that I had to fix.
Wow.
And I didn't want that to have to happen to anybody else. So I figured the only way to do that was to put it in a book so that everybody can have access to that.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. Now, tell me, how has Spaa inspired you in your professional career?
Wow, Spaa has done so many things because I got to be an author. Yeah. I got to be a speaker in a different manner than I was when I was working for the federal government because I was speaking then, but I was more in an instructional way.
Okay.
Letting the grantees know what it is they needed to do to continue to receive that grant every year.
Okay.
In good form with the federal government. But Spaa taught me how to speak in a different manner.
Okay.
How to be comfortable in front of people that I was not familiar with.
Okay.
And how to have a stage presence. So it did quite a bit for me. And the networking and what we call the relationship building opportunities that we have are amazing because there are individuals there that are doctors and lawyers and sports coaches and you name it, we have it in our membership.
Okay. Good. All right. Now, are you currently employed or are you retired?
I am retired. Yeah. I retired from my government job in 2010.
Okay.
Retired ever since and loving it.
Wow.
Yes.
Okay. Now, what was your career path prior to retirement?
I actually started out
exactly what you were doing
with the federal government in 1970. When I was still in high school, the civil service program actually came out to the high schools to try and recruit.
Okay.
Yeah. Employees. And that's how I got in, by taking the civil service test.
Okay.
And so I started out as a clerk, stenographer, receptionist, because I love steno.
Okay.
And just happened to go, up the ladder. Every chance I got, I applied for something and landed it. So right before I retired, I was at my highest level then was a public health analyst.
Okay.
And that I went from a GS3 as my first job to a GS13 as my last job.
Okay.
And that was for a period of I was there for 38 years.
Wow.
Basically in the same department, which was huge at one point in time. We almost had like 300 people. And when
Okay.
I left, that department was maybe at 25 people.
Wow.
That was a big difference.
Wow. Because my next question I want to ask you on why did you decide to retire when you did? But I guess at 38 years, you like, hey.
Yeah, it was time to move on.
Okay.
I had given them all of my adult life, really.
Yeah, because you started young. Yeah.
Yeah, it was just time to do something different. I didn't know what that was going to be, but I knew that it was a lot of stuff out there. And so
Okay.
I just, helped spark that interest in me of wanting to be a professional speaker,
Okay.
as well as it gave me the opportunity to do some modeling, to become an over 50s model. And if it wasn't for Dr. Wilkins, I wouldn't have been able to do that.
Yes.
I just did it one day, and the next thing I knew, the opportunity was there.
Yes.
And I've been doing it ever since.
Now, let me ask you this.
Mm-hmm.
If you had a choice, would you go back? Would you come out of retirement and go back into the government?
No. No, for the federal government, and you were, a federal government employee.
Yes.
The 80s, 60s through the 80s was the best time,
Okay.
I believe,
Okay.
for people of color to work in the federal government.
Okay.
Because there were programs for equal employment opportunity, affirmative action.
Okay.
And there were so many minorities in the building that we worked in.
Okay.
It was like its own little city. And we had like administrators of departments that were Black, Hispanic, Asian. It was really diverse.
Okay.
After the 80s, once the 90s hit, things were different.
Okay.
Pushing that as much. A lot of people were leaving because they just didn't believe that was the place that they still wanted to be.
Okay.
I wouldn't go back because it's totally different. Even with new President Biden, he's
okay.
a difficult time trying to get that inclusiveness and diversity back to where it was. So I would not go back.
Okay. All right. So let's see. What are you currently focusing on now since you're retired?
Okay.
Well, let me clear that up. Since you retired from your government job, because you're still out there working.
Yeah, it's a different kind of work. It's a different kind of enjoyment.
Okay.
Right now, I'm really interested in trying to get students between the ages of 10 and 19 into our Choices and Consequences program.
Okay.
A fabulous program for teaching students about the choices that they make will always have consequences.
Yes.
You need to think those things through before they just go out there and do something that may seem like it's fun right now or they don't care right now.
Exactly.
But those consequences will catch up with them.
Exactly.
I love talking to people about life skills. And so I've decided just this year, really, to become a relationship coach and not just focus on the students, but also focus on the various life cycles that all of us go through. Yes. Beginning with the middle schoolers and the high schoolers, going up to the young adults, married or single adults, and then even seniors such as myself.
Okay.
Relationship coaching is what I'm focusing on right now.
Okay. Good. All right. Now, what would you recommend to someone that's bored at home, looking for something to do, don't know where to start?
Well, let me tell you, will not be bored when you become a member of Spaa.
Yes.
We have so many things going on. Even during the pandemic, we didn't stop. The theater kept going, even though it was not in person anymore. It's virtual.
Mm-hmm.
And there are plays that we're continuing. You in particular, because I'm not on the theater side. I'm on the business side. But you guys are still putting on plays, creating them. And so we have meetings that take place once a month, usually the first Saturday of the month.
Yes.
They're virtual also. You don't even have to get out anymore and drive to them right now. Mm-hmm. Eventually, we will go back to housing those meetings in a building. Mm-hmm. Generally, this on the south side of Chicago, and it's easy to get to, back and forth. It doesn't last but a couple of hours on a Saturday morning, so you have plenty of time to get out and do your other things. But Spaa is the place to be. You will not be bored, believe me.
Exactly.
Yes.
Okay. Now, in your personal life, what would you do differently if you could?
I think the one thing that I would want to do differently would be travel more as a couple with my husband. Because even though after both of us were retired, we didn't do a lot of that. We did some, and I really enjoyed it, even if we were driving all over the place. So if we were flying, it didn't make any difference. But once we both retired, because I retired first, and I think he retired like 2 years after me, I had my projects and he had his projects.
Okay.
Very rarely took time for the two of us to do traveling together the way I would like to have done it. So if I could do anything differently, I would be doing that, spending more time just traveling intimately with him.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Now, is there anything else that you might want to share with us that we don't know about you, or just something you just want to tell us in closing?
Well, yes, as you mentioned before, I am going to be a speaker at this virtual conference that's coming up at the end of October.
Okay.
You can find that information on my Facebook account, because we're just allowed to send out one of the promo materials.
Okay.
And so my other contact information is I'm on LinkedIn. It's Brenda Tucker-Jeffries.
Okay.
Facebook is Brenda Tucker-Jeffries, and my business page is Relationships Are Us. Okay. You can contact me by email, and my email is BTUCK ER-JEFFRIES@Comcast.net.
Okay.
And my website is www.BrendaTucker-Jeffries.com. Okay. My book, Mother of the Bride Stuff Happens, is available on Amazon.com. And if you would like a copy of The Power Within, you can contact me directly, and I can make sure that you get that. Okay. So that's about it for me. I truly enjoyed this interview.
I enjoyed having you. Yes. So with that being said, this will end our evening podcast, and be on the lookout for more things from Miss Brenda Tucker-Jeffries.
Thank you very much, and have a great evening.
You too.
Bye-bye.